Happy Easter. It's okay to say this and live it. I've never been religious, but Scott and I keep these Christmas and Easter decorations out year-round because we find inspiration in the story of the ultimate wounded healer. We each experience suffering daily, Scott with intractable nerve pain, and I as a neurosurgeon witnessing the human stigmata of disease. The story of Easter is an allegory to the universality of suffering and need for emancipation. Our answers may differ, but in today's troubled times, we need to reawaken the possibility of shared communion. Like Easter, our backyards in early spring remind us that life is impossible without death, and that life occurs in the shadow of it. These plastic decorations withstand the elements and are powerful symbols of tranquility. In this yard, we rescued 2 kittens that were abandoned by a drug-addicted neighbor when he was evicted. We found Lucy and Ethel starving and flee-ridden, and the bloody water from their first bath is a poignant reminder of our shared vulnerability. Let's descend to the basement. Many years ago, this hall was used for all types of community events in our Pennsylvania coal town. Dances, funerals, union elections. Like yours, our sense of community has been lost and replaced by a contemporary cyberpunk nightmare. But there's still hope. It's here. Here you'll find abandoned relics from a bygone era, nursery furniture, and dark wood chairs that would fit well in a funeral. I recently became reawakened in the need to exist now after experiencing unprecedented job stress from the dystopian reality of American healthcare. In addition to emotional stress, I gained 20 pounds since becoming a doctor. But right here, I found a better way to heal myself and to become better at healing in turn. By situating myself on a treadmill, halfway in between birth and death, I take exhilarating 1-hour runs each day. I've lost those 20 pounds and now I'm healthier in every way than I've ever been. I have faith that you too can evolve if you simply slow down, listen, think, and feel. Strip down, then build up. Recognize false dichotomies and zero-sum games as the contemporary logical errors they are. To love yourself, you must love your neighbor, and to love your neighbor, you must love yourself. Make everything you do and everything you say worthy of your life. Lost innocence cannot be reclaimed, so the only good life is an unsettled one, and the best answer possible. Doctors almost always tell the truth, but have you ever heard a doctor who told the whole truth? I've never met such a doctor, but here's one attempt. Nicotine will hurt your neck and back decades before it kills your heart and brain. Nicotine is pain disguised as pleasure. It's slavery disguised as freedom. Of course your doctor hasn't told you these facts, or thousands of other ways patient behaviors, in particular nicotine and obesity, cause death and suffering, because our hands, like yours, are shackled by the system. As someone trained by the system, you, the patient as customer, would become angry and leave a negative review if I told you the whole truth and all its ugly but life-saving detail. Our society trains us to value fleeting pleasures and inoffensive platitudes over life itself. As the customer, you think you're the one consuming, but in reality, you are the one consumed. But there is hope for humanity in humanity. It begins by telling the whole truth and sharing pure love. The answer is not more AI and robots, but to live the foundational principles articulated by the Enlightenment and the ancients. There is a relationship between freedom and morality. Freedom is the struggle to do the right thing. Everything else is slavery. There is a relationship between rights and duty. Your rights are so inalienable that even you cannot sell them. When healthcare is tainted by commodification, causing moral injury, disease, and death, moral philosophy and art are more potent antidotes than science and technology. Life is the most basic right, and healthcare is necessary for life. Healthcare is a human right. Anything less is perversion. It follows that even a liberal like me must be conservative to a healthy degree. Even a non-religious person like me must have faith in something to stay alive, and we should welcome others to express their faith, including saying Merry Christmas, as long as it doesn't hurt us. By removing religion from society, we've allowed something deeply sinister to replace it. Even a scientist must have some faith. No data will ever prove that life is worth living or that good things even exist. We live in troubled times, and many of us will die having never lived. We have so much more to live simply by slowing down, thinking and feeling, and listening to one another. As humans, we each live a story. The details are different, but the beginning and ends are the same. The story of the ultimate wounded healer is a beautiful one. Happy Easter from this agnostic, gay, vegan, liberal humanist. But let's stop labeling. Let's have faith. Let's share a story. Let's escape from this cage together.
You want some tuna? You want some tuna? Here's some tuna.
Happy Easter. Happy New Year, dear patient, colleague, and fellow human. Whether you're a patient struggling with the health effects of nicotine or obesity, a doctor suffering from burnout, or a citizen smitten with animosity toward your fellow human, you're likely suffering from dopamine, a 21st century neurosis that afflicts all of us to some degree. The antidote is to slow down, ask real questions about our health, our profession, our society, and our existence, and give real answers. What are these questions? What is freedom? Is happiness real? Is success true? Are they possible? What is respect? Do we really care? Are we living telling the whole truth? Are we only living on the surface of life, to die having never lived? Do your viewpoints, identities, and feelings make you free or a prisoner? Knowing we'll face darkness, why come to work tomorrow? These questions both strip us down to our essence and at the same time build us up. Your answers will differ, but to me, the answer to dopamine is to live as much as possible in an enlightened flow state. We recognize that nothingness is the origin and destination of our material world, and this material can be arbitrary, dark, and meaningless. But that doesn't mean that our existence has to be this way. It is categorically different, post-material, electric, fleeting. This realization compels us to seize the day in a very real way, to live a better version of ourselves every moment. Live in an enlightened flow state, engaged in experience, but removed by 1 degree from the particulars of it, because the particulars are arbitrary and have no moral worth. Flow incorporates purpose, humility, curiosity, creativity, dialogue, and grit. We become aware that every facet of our existence is a dance of electricity in our heads, and we dance with it. We live at the interface between is and ought. We find that authenticity and effectiveness are not mutually exclusive. We find ourselves by losing ourselves. The perspective provided by letting go reveals that we have more control than we think. War and disease are caused by cycles, and we have the power to turn off the switch. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate our world from suffering of all kinds. There's no difference between our world and ourselves. It is arbitrary which body you occupy. Every moment we live in answer to a question. Turn off the disease switch. We are all innocent, and we are all in this together. Stop fixating on fault, and stop fixating on fixes. They often don't exist, at least for back pain, says the spine surgeon. But every moment is an opportunity to grow and heal. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate human beings from suffering of all kinds. Each of us has good reason to have faith in ourselves. Each of us, no matter who we are, has the power to make the world a better place. Live this power while you still have it. May your light continue to shine against all darkness. Every moment in life is a question and an answer. Truth and love or death. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate our world and ourselves. Consumerism by people and commodification of people are two sides of the same coin. This coin is spent silently in easily enslaving, torturing, and killing us. Even those people and institutions obligated to save lives fail to deliver life-saving information and action for fear of dissatisfying the customer. Satisfying but harmful lies replace unpleasant but essential truths. We witness torture but stay silent because we too are enslaved. Instead, we profit from and perpetuate this torture, offering cures that always benefit us, but only help the patients sometimes and a little, often with side effects. When inalienable rights become tainted as products, people become disposable. How wounded humanity is, how necessary truth and love are. So why come to work tomorrow? Once the light shines, you see that there's little moral difference between causing suffering and neglecting it. The light reveals that most contemporary suffering is caused by an on-off switch, regulating dopamine, and it is arbitrary which way you found it, whether you found it on or off, or what form it was in. Just as lost innocence cannot be felt again, enlightenment cannot be unseen. The only true freedom is doing the right thing. And because we're human and can never see, achieve, or own exactly what the right thing is, the only realistic freedom is the struggle to find and do it. Such freedom is within our grasp every time and everywhere. Such freedom requires us to confront that we're sometimes part of the problem. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate our world and ourselves. There's no difference between our world and ourselves. It is arbitrary which body you occupy. The opportunity to emancipate human beings from suffering is the pure and only reason to come to work every day. Everything else in healthcare is simply a means to this end. Our lives are too short not to tell the whole truth and not to share pure love. Why come to work tomorrow? Because no pleasure is as good as pain is bad. We know that from life experience and neuroscience. Pleasures tend to decrease over time. Pain tends to linger. It is arbitrary which body you occupy. Sometimes you can cure, usually you can prevent, but always you can heal. And what an awesome opportunity to engage your mind and relieve suffering, a higher pleasure. But healthcare is diseased by a confusion of means as ends and perverted by wars between means. When healthcare is a product rather than a right, people become disposable when money can be made. Let's be honest, because our society is a diseased video game fueled by dopamine that alienates us from ourselves and each other, most aspiring doctors don't go into medicine for purely altruistic reasons, when in practice, many continue to put money and ego above patient. Greed and apathy are the greatest source of pain and suffering in this country, and doctors are not above it. We must reawaken the purpose of healthcare together. That requires scrutinizing the society from which disease forms. An overdue reckoning of self and society clarifies our purpose and purifies our soul. However, don't be too pure or abstract. You'll get nowhere. We'll never eliminate money. Because we're only human, money encourages work that is necessary for society to function but painful to perform. The fear of losing money encourages responsibility. But money needs to be accountable too, as do those who have it. Money can be an effective means, but can never be the end. Otherwise, it will be the end of us. Always ask yourself these questions. Will I die having never lived? What if I'm only living on the surface of life? Is what I'm seeing now reality, or do I need to look harder? Is what I am thinking now cogent, or do I need to reassess? All the answers are the same. Engage everything, both within and without, and take nothing for granted. This is an effective patient safety strategy during surgery, by the way. Even if you're usually right in your role in this world, accept the reality that you're only a minor actor and sometimes get your few lines wrong. Listen as much as you speak. Even if you're an elite healer, don't be too proud to tell others you're in pain. As a surgeon, you cut against the grain of disease. When you recognize that the disease is a lot bigger than anatomy and procedures, your work perspective might broaden, but the central purpose does not. Cut against the grain of disease. Cut against bad medicine fueled by greed and apathy. Burnout is a diagnosis, but not a destination. The description is not the prescription. Stay in the game, try to change the rules, and support each other. But when you can't change the rules, don't take the game to heart, but still try to win to serve a higher purpose. Authenticity and effectiveness are not mutually exclusive. Together, they'll make you stronger and your world healthier. Because none of us truly gets there, the most confident of us are generally the greatest fools, and the happiest are often the greatest sadists. Truth and love are Socratic, requiring the humility to listen to others, but also the audacity to tell others they're misguided. Truth and love are basic human virtues to have faith in, but they cannot be fully realized blindly. They require an always evolving, reflective equilibrium between principle and practice. To do the right thing, your motives must be pure and your eyes must be sharp, and you need to talk to each other and always evolve. The internal and external are not mutually exclusive. You'll never see, achieve, or own exactly what the right stuff is. Even when you do perfect surgery, your outcomes will be varied due to factors outside your control, ranging from biology to chance to societal disease that continues to grip the patient. That said, your patients deserve nothing less than the very best fight against their disease. Because your tools are highly technical, you must embody perfectionism. However, admit that such demands have great personal and family cost and make time and space for yourself and them. No data will ever prove that life is worth living or that good things exist. Nothingness is the origin and destination of our material world, but not the prescription for our existence, which is now, post-material, electric, fleeting. The answer to a meaningless, uncertain, and dark world is not to retreat, but to re-engage it with a better version of yourself. Stop looking at the world through the lens of fault and fix. Even if patient behavior causes most disease, it's not their fault. It is a societal disease. Look at the world as an opportunity to grow and heal. Look at the brain's anatomy and physiology, but also recognize where it came from, what regulates it, and where it's going. That's you, no different from your patient, except you may not be in control after all. Even if there is no free will, and we are simply circuits set in motion by billions of external forces and only existing for a flicker in time, much like billiards on a pool table, thinking they're changing their little world, but in reality knocked by something bigger and destined to stop, the fact that we can see light and feel warmth gives us faith in our ability and need to share truth and love. Objectively, for all its missteps, the world has become a better place the past several hundred years. There's good reason to have faith in ourselves. Don't leave or catastrophize. Be the solution. Sometimes you have to let go. That dichotomy between being in complete control and letting go is one of the mysteries of life. We may not be in control after all. Neuroscience actually suggests this. Just as our vision is mere perception of a reality that we'll never see, and our identity, the product of chance, circumstance, is our will and experience, are our choices shadows of phenomena that have already happened. Let go, love and learn. Live the show, play a role, control what you think you can control. It will be over tomorrow. But don't let go too easy. Yoga mats, nature trails, art-filled offices might be a time to reflect, but they're not a place for permanent settlement. What are we here for? What do we value? What is our purpose? We'll have plenty of time to let go after we die. So we need to continue to cut against the grain of disease. It's our higher pleasure. It is our purpose. It is our duty. It is our freedom. And when we realize that physical disease, in large part, results from societal disease, we need to confront thin pathologic conceptions of freedom, respect, success, and happiness, wherever they are, even in healthcare, that prioritize dopamine over life and are the root cause of most suffering. Freedom is not just doing what you want, because that has consequences, and the end will cause more pain than pleasure. It's ill-informed to just do what we want. We need to ensure that our choices are also informed by knowledge and power. We need to respect each other, and that doesn't always mean agreeing all the time. We need to engage each other in dialectical conversations to improve ourselves and each other, not to regress in anger or in silence. Respectful disagreement is the seed of progress, and our current definitions of success and happiness are perverting us. and causing us to die slowly. Dopamine is the nuclear crisis of the 21st century. Both arose from two things, neurosis and technology. But unlike the nuclear crisis, dopamine is not a threat but a reality, a war that has already taken place and killing us slowly. Our individual circumstances and identities are lenses through which we as humans have no choice but to experience the world through. But in the 21st century, we're living inside, not through, these lenses. These lenses have become inwardly reflecting, overly stimulated bubbles that make us neurotic and susceptible to false dichotomies. Alarmists are everywhere, not only politicians and the media endlessly finding fault in others, but now regular people everywhere are living grievance narratives with no desire to find a solution, which almost always is possible and within ourselves. Fixations over things that don't really matter replace genuine concern over what really matters. Our minds, words, and actions are just as much garbage as the junk food, nicotine, and other substances we put in ourselves in the futile attempt to fill this internal void. Most of us are only living on the surface of life. Most of us will die, having never lived. How do you know you're not one of these people? Well, simply embrace humility. Worrying that you might be wrong is generally the best and perhaps the only way to know you're right, or at least that you're getting closer to it. That sort of vigilant humility is what drives safe surgery. Experienced surgeons have a way of letting go in the face of challenge, yet at the same time being in complete control. This is a phenomenon known as flow. Flow is an answer to 21st century neurosis. Flow is a state in which we are engaged in our experience, yet removed by 1 degree from the arbitrary particulars of it, because we recognize that these particulars are neither in our control nor carry moral worth. Flow incorporates purpose, humility, curiosity, creativity, dialogue, and grit. We live at, and are conductors of, the interface between is and ought. We become aware that every facet of our existence is a dance of electricity in our heads, and we dance with it. Every circumstance is arbitrary. All the particulars fade away. Paradoxically, the perspective provided by letting go reveals that we have more control than we think. War and disease are caused by cycles, and we have the power to turn off the switch. The only life we have is this moment. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate our world and ourselves. We find ourselves by losing ourselves. Live the answers to the problems you see. We're only good surgeons to the extent that we're good doctors. Good doctors only to the extent that we're good citizens. Good citizens only to the extent that we are good people, and good people only to the extent that we strive to be good. Only by striving for a more coherent vision of our own lives can we possibly form a more perfect union as a people. Finding a better version of ourselves is the antidote to the troubles of this world. These troubles have existed since the beginning of time. They cause disease and they cause war, these cycles that we have control to stop. But there's a problem. Once you're emancipated, you feel free, but also things are strange. There's alienation. How do you know what to do next? As Teddy Roosevelt would say, keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. If I may add, live somewhere in between, because those stars are so far away and vague, and the ground on which you step is very shaky. Your hands are among the steadiest things in this world and the source of hope. Have faith in yourself. Once the familiar turns strange, one can be more confident in the self that remains. Once you've entered to grow in wisdom, how can you not leave to better serve humankind. Life's a lot of work, but the greatest work of all is life. Every moment is an opportunity to emancipate ourselves and our world from suffering of all kinds. Thank you to all the doctors who taught me and to all my patients. You have the hard job and inspire everything. Special thanks to Professor Michael Sandel, the greatest teacher I never knew I had. Thank you, YouTube and Dr. Sandel, for putting your videos online. They're available to all, and all are encouraged to view if you haven't already, to enter to grow in wisdom for free. The best things in life are free. Now I know what you're thinking. How do we turn these principles into reality in today's environment? Do a better job of convincing others you're on their side, because you are. Show people that regardless of their political preferences, the healthcare crisis is a legitimate national security threat that requires strong central action like the United States military. Find unique ways of sharing your message, such as incorporating frank information and even status updates regarding obesity and nicotine at every patient interaction with the healthcare system, from the electronic patient portal to signs in elevators and waiting rooms to every phone call. Use capitalism to incentivize healthy behaviors and disincentivize unhealthy ones. When we do the proper accounting, keeping patients healthy can be good for business. Find unique ways of engaging patients regardless of their circumstances or beliefs. I've never been religious, and this is my truth. But those like me often fail to engage the truths that others legitimately hold, and we can do a better job at finding common ground. Scott and I keep these Christmas and Easter decorations outside our home year-round because we find inspiration in the story of the ultimate wounded healer. This is the pride flag we fly in our rural community, and countless strangers have stopped by and told us how much they love us. We all have so much more in common than we think, and our potential to heal is boundless. So the answer to broken backs, broken doctors, and broken healthcare is the same. Use as little dope money as possible and only as necessary to serve a greater good. Don't ever let dope money use you. The fix is here in front of us, every time and every place. Turn off the disease switch